Ladies and gents, welcome back. Liberal MP Han Dong has stepped down from his position as a Liberal and is now sitting as an independent amid allegations that he conspired with Chinese top-level officials to have two Canadian citizens that were illegally detained in China held onto in prison for a little bit longer during an election cycle because it may look good for the Conservative Party at the time. Now, these are allegations that were brought forward by Global News. Now, Han Dong is seeking legal action. We have here from True North. Han Dong threatens legal action against Global News. Former Liberal MP, he's former now. He's still sitting as an MP and member of Parliament, but he's quit the Liberal Party over these allegations. Han Dong has said he plans to fight back against news report that alleges he was an active participant in Chinese interference scandals. This is not the only scandal that he was actually being alleged that he was involved in. In a public statement Monday, Han Dong said that he retained a lawyer to take action against Global News and its parent Chorus Entertainment for the content of a news story last week, which he says was untrue. And while this is not the only article this morning about this. MP Han Dong, this is from CTV News, says he's retained a lawyer, plans to sue Global over interference report. Toronto MP Han Dong says he's taking legal action over a media report that alleged he spoke with a Chinese diplomat in February 2021 about delaying the release of two Canadians detained in China at the time. Global News reported this month, that Han Dong told the Chinese Consul General in Toronto to keep Michael Coveridge and Michael Spavor in prison would be politically damaging to the opposition Conservatives, an allegation Dong vehemently denies. Now, here is the original story that Global ran.
In February 2021, Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor had been detained in a Chinese prison for nearly 800 days. But while they languished away, Ontario Liberal MP Han Dong allegedly advised a top Chinese diplomat to hold off on immediately freeing them. Two independent national security sources have told Global News that Dong spoke with China's Consular General in Toronto, Han Tao, and suggested to him that if Beijing released the two Michaels, then federal Conservatives would benefit. How exactly is not clear. Dong allegedly initiated the discussion with the Consul General, where he also allegedly recommended that Beijing offer some show of progress with the two Michaels cases to help benefit the Liberals, according to the two sources. Dong confirmed to Global News that the conversation took place, but he denied he initiated the discussion and says that he advocated for the two Michaels to be set free. At every opportunity before they returned home, I adamantly demanded their release to Canada without delay, said Dong. Any suggestions otherwise are false and are attempts to mislead you, your readers, and slander me. The two Michaels had been jailed.
So before we go on with this report, let's get on to what he has to say about this. Now, he's claiming slander. Now, there is a high threshold to meet when it comes to slander or libel in this country. Because he's a public figure, people can say a number of things about him, especially allegations, and say, you know, these are allegations that are being put forward. I didn't hear anything in that article that would suggest that they made a positive affirmation. They're saying that these are allegations, these are things that are being brought forward and investigated about this individual, Mr. Han Dong. But here's his reply to this. He put out this statement yesterday saying, yes, I'm taking legal action against Global News and Chorus Entertainment. I have retained a lawyer to begin legal action to its full extent. My father arrived in Canada in August 1989, 2 months after the Tiananmen Square, which China would say that didn't actually happen. So this is something that actually did happen. Sorry to all those Chinese people that have been brainwashed by your government. In 1970, my father was sent to May 7th cadre school, re-education camp during the Cultural Revolution and subjected to forced labor and 24-hour surveillance for almost an entire year. From that experience, my father knew there was no future for him in China. As a result, In 1990, my father brought me, my sister, my mother to Canada to begin a new life. Unbelievably, found himself in the Liberal Party, which is in a cultural revolution of their own at the moment. The trauma left on my father is one of the compelling reasons why, as co-chair of the Canada-China Legislative Association and member of Parliament, I took every available opportunity to advocate on behalf of Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor and to call for their immediate release. It is inconceivable that I would ever suggest a falsely accused individual should spend an extra minute in jail. Canada has given my family the opportunity to succeed despite the abuse and shame my family has suffered over the last few weeks. I truly believe that my parents made the right decision to come to Canada. I voted in support of a public inquiry on foreign interference to demonstrate my family, colleagues, and constituents that I have nothing to hide and remind my false accusers and global news that the truth will always come out in the end. I support the mandate of the independent special rapporteur, the Right Honorable David Johnson, and I'm willing to meet with him to provide any information that he requests. Now, many Canadians are concerned about this whole thing because they think, well, the special rapporteur, and we're going to get into this into another video, personal friend of the Trudeau family, member of the Trudeau Foundation, won't get to any sort of truth. We're not going to get to the bottom of any of this stuff through that rapporteur, and that's just why there's many calls for an independent inquiry into this, and we're hoping that we'll see that, especially with many more of these accusations coming out. As I stated in my speech to my family in the House of Commons, the truth will protect us. Our honor and our family will get through this together. I can look at myself in the mirror and know with full certainty that I have the truth on my side. My anonymous false accusers and their enablers cannot say the same. So this is the statement from Mr. Han Dong as he says he's going to be filing suit against Global News. The report continues here.
Hailed an apparent retribution for Canada's detention of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou. But at the time of Dong's conversation with the Chinese diplomat, the Prime Minister had publicly been calling for their release.
This is an issue that is a top priority for us as a country to secure the release of Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig.
Trudeau's office says the Prime Minister only learned of the conversation with the Chinese envoy after Dong told PMO. But Dong only informed the Prime Minister's team after Global News reached out for comment.
As a Chinese Canadian, I am so proud.
A national security official told Global News that by the time the alleged conversation in February 2021 took place, CSIS had already classified Dong as a close friend of the consulate based on his history of calls. But they had also considered if Dong was acting as a back-channel interlocutor between the Canadian and Chinese governments. The PMO denied that theory, saying at no time was Mr. Dong ever used as a back-channel. Global News has not been able to independently verify what was said in the communication between Dong and the Consul General. Last month, Global News reported that Dong allegedly received help from the Chinese consulate in Toronto during his 2019 Liberal nomination meeting in Don Valley North. Allegations Dong denies.
Because of the news story and all the hateful, aggressive comments, death threats coming my way, it does impact constituents in my riding.
We reached out to CSIS for comment on the Dong conversation. A spokesperson for the agency said they can neither confirm nor deny the authenticity of the information. Mackenzie Ray, Global News, Ottawa.
So I'm looking at the report, and we've seen a lot of slanderous type reports come out of Global News, but this one doesn't seem to have any sort of indication that they're making an affirmative statement of any kind, more of an investigative approach into this thing. Now, nonetheless, Han Dong did resign, and here's a portion of the things that he had to say in his resignation.
I want to assure Mr. Michael Spavor and Mr. Michael Kovrig and their families that I did nothing to cause them any harm. Like everyone in this House, I worked hard and advocated for their interest as a parliamentarian. The allegations made against me are as false as the ones made against you. To my constituents, I will continue to work on your behalf as your member of parliament.
As a independent, he's no longer part of the Liberal Party. And now Harrison Faulkner put out onto Twitter yesterday saying Han Dong is suing Global News and will be opening himself up to discovery, which could bring forward loads of evidence in this scandal. How can Justin Trudeau not call an inquiry into these circumstances? Well, he's not doing it, just like he's been dragging his feet on everything. And, well, I mean, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Now, Han Dong himself is not a stranger to controversy. There is an article here from the National Telegraph saying, was Liberal MP Han Dong involved in the smear campaign against MP Kevin Vuong? Vuong, you would know from yesterday's video, was the one that was threatened by Mark Garretson. Hey, let's take this outside after he mentioned, where are your talking points coming from? Are they coming from the Liberal Party, or are they coming from the Chinese Communist Party? Now, obviously, Kevin Vuong, not a fan of the Chinese Communist Party, but these are more allegations that have been thrown out about Han Dong. So just a little food for thought here. Anyway, before this video gets running too long, ask you guys, what do you think of this whole situation? Do you think there's any credibility to the accusations going on here? Again, we're talking about the corrupt Liberal Party, and not to say that all the parties aren't corrupt in any sort of way. I definitely would agree, but it seems that during this whole investigation into allegations of Chinese interference, it seems to be leaning one particular way. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this whole scenario, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.